Welcome to the Estate Professionals Mastermind podcast. This community is about providing value first, and rather than having one interaction, one transaction, and one payday from the work you do, we're here to teach you to build so much more.
Okay, let's launch this thing. Hey, good afternoon. I'm Bill Gross. Welcome to Probate Mastery. Every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, we get together and talk about all things probate real estate. This is really a call meant for alumni of the Probate Mastery program by Chad Corbett. And the purpose here is to engage in what's working, what's not working, who needs help. Let's share ideas, let's share best practices to help shorten the time period for us to be successful in building our real estate business, whether we're agents or we're investors, to build our business to make more income and make more. We do this every week. It's recorded live. It's recorded, and then it's put on the Probate Mastery website as well as put on YouTube. So love to have you come live with us, sign up for the Zoom call and ask questions live and participate. Or if you're watching on the chat, you're welcome to put comments in there and we watch them as well. And then also with this group, there's also a Facebook group. So if you go to Facebook and look up Probate Mastery Alumni, there's a group there where people can engage and ask questions and participate and share good articles, good content with each other, what kind of mailers are doing, things like that. So feel free to join the Facebook group as well. I'm Bill Gross, and I don't work for the company. I mean, I guess I make a little bit on some affiliate income and such. I kind of play around with that, but really I'm a full-time real estate broker. I'm based in Los Angeles, California, and I have a team of agents across the country. I'm building a probate network of agents, and if you're interested in talking to me about that, I'd love to. But I'm really here as a practitioner. I literally do this every day. As recently as I hung up before this call, talking to attorneys and prospective customers, and want to get better at my craft and get better at the business, make more money, do more business. And so that's what we're here to do. We're here to do real business. I'm not here to sell you the data. I'm not here to sell you on the coaching. I'm here with my sleeves rolled up, as it were. Again, I'm in Los Angeles. We don't have long sleeves, but my sleeves rolled up in this business and making money at it. And I'll just share with you, took the biggest listing of my career a week and a half ago, was there yesterday, closing a nice property this week, a commercial. And I will say that my probate business has allowed me to make a phenomenal income with some recurring income, as well as build a team of people, help a lot of people be successful and move in from residential, move into commercial. This will be my third commercial closing this year. And I took a huge listing, for me, huge, $4.8 million that will be closing next year probably. But so this year I closed 3 commercial properties and land. I've never done that before in my career. So probate's really given me an opportunity to broaden my business and product. And it's interesting that because I'm the probate expert to them, they don't get into all the details of how much commercial this or that. And I'm smart enough to get help and get the right services to market the property properly. But it's really given me a chance to expand my product in a way that most agents struggle to do that. So it's been a phenomenal experience for me personally. I'm glad to share that. And I'd love to have you guys participate by asking questions, raising your hands in the Zoom application or in the chat box, put a question there, and love to answer questions. I want to also say one thing just before we get started, get you guys warmed up and give you a little taste of me if you're new to me. Now, if you're regular, thank you for coming back and participating. I see a lot of regular faces, Dan and Bud and Joyce and Jim. I see a bunch of you that I recognize and others maybe I should recognize and I don't. Forgive me, that's me, not you. I'm 63 years old and just don't remember everybody's name like I probably should. Winston, how you doing? And those who are new to me, I would just share with you my flavor. Real estate has been such a blessing in my life. I can't even describe it. And the probate real estate in particular, I started this track 4 years ago. I was 60 years old at the time, technically 59 and a half. I turned 64 in January. And I had to relaunch my career from scratch. In sales, I've been in management and recruiting and coaching, and I had to start over again. It's been phenomenal. I make good money. I work reasonable hours. I enjoy what I do. I feel like I really help other people, and I make really good money doing it. But I want to say to you guys something I've said, I think, every week for the last 4 years that I believe is true. This is the best time ever to be building a business in real estate, whether you're talking about getting started or getting restarted or launching to the next level. If you've been struggling in real estate, this is the best time ever to move it up a notch or two. If you just started in the last year or two and you did a couple of sales and got a lot harder, best time ever to build your business. Why is that? 2 reasons why I would say, because I believe in real estate, and I've said this continually over my career, but I think I used to get more sold on the power of real estate as an industry and as a career, the more I do it. The flexibility, the opportunity to make money It's amazing to meet attorneys. I met an attorney with my properties yesterday, and all the work they have to do to get a license and pass the bar and the costs they have. And for a real estate license, I'm making more on the sale of the property than they will as an attorney, with a lot less overhead. I don't have to have an office. I don't have to have paralegals and the staff they have to have in their business. If I'm good at my business, if I'm better at my business than they are at theirs, I make a lot more money. And it's never been the case before. I think for us in real estate that it's gotten better and easier as the industry is more paralyzed with fear, as there's more concerns about the coming recession or downturn. Those of us who are certain, have a plan or an action, are getting more rewards. Because people say, well, isn't the market slowing down? It's not for me. I'm tired. I'll be honest with you. I'm just trying to keep my energy up. I've had some personal stuff go on as well at the same time, but I'm busy and I'm getting deals into escrow. It's about as fast as I can, manage the customers. I'm getting them into escrow. And so this is an opportunity of a lifetime when the whole market's slowing down. If you can find a plan and work it and be in action, particularly at the holidays, when the people taking off, particularly great time to meet people and develop new relationships or strengthen the ones you have. This is the opportunity for you. And if you can get into probate and specifically have a plan for yourself of what you're supposed to do. I know what my plan is. I'll just share with you. I used to go to court every day. That was my lead generation technique. Some of you, it's door knocking. Some of you, it's phone calling. Some of you, it's stopping by real estate offices, law offices. Some of you, it's some other networking, maybe adult care facilities or some other networking. Whatever it is you do, maybe it's regular real estate networking. Do that activity more now because you're gonna get a bigger payoff now than ever in this business. Mine's more social media. I go on to networking events, I record things, I put out social media. I have attorneys who are now glad to have me interview them. It was a little bit of a struggle, I'll be honest with you. When I started this 4 years ago to interview attorneys, it was challenging for me. And a number of them would say no, and it was discouraging. But now they almost all say yes because they see my channel. They've built this up over time. And the same is true with you in whatever lead generation you do. I'm not saying I picked the right method. I picked the right method for me. What's the right method for you? And I think the thing that really was rewarding for me when Chad did the Probate Mastery training, he challenged us to go to court. He challenged us to do a lot of different things. And by participating, I found my path. What's your path? So I'm here to help. If I can answer questions, I'm here to help. A couple free things you can do. There's a link in the chat box that Kat put there because she's on top of all this stuff, Kat Wagner. And he talked about how you can use life insurance to build wealth and income. But she also put a chat in there, the estate professional referral directory. You ought to be in there. You also ought to contact your attorney partners in your market. Make sure the ones that do estate planning, make sure they're in there. What a nice phone call. Hey, Joyce, I'm Bill Gross. I'm a real estate agent. I know you're an estate planning attorney. We haven't met that much. But I'm part of a national network of estate planning professionals around the country. And I'd love to see you added to the list. I know you do a good job here in whatever city you're in. Love to see you in the list. Is that something you'd be interested in adding yourself to? There's no cost. And here's the link to it. What a nice phone call. What if you called every estate planning attorney in your market and offered the free service of sending them that link or getting them signed up, right? Or something like that. And then the Facebook group, I actually have a Facebook group, Probate Experts. And I get in there all the time, requests for referrals for attorneys or realtors all across the country. Michigan I had last week, Texas I had last week. So feel free to participate, but this is the time to participate, this time of year, if you're working. Now, if you're with your family, you're on vacation, okay. But if you're working, work. If you're working, generate activity, generate business. This would be the most valuable time for you to generate business ever in your career going forward, as long as you do it properly. Okay, Kat is all over it as usual. Yeah, Kat's like 3 steps ahead of me playing chess. There's no doubt about it on this thing. So couldn't do it without her. Thank you for your help. Okay, who's got a question? Who's got a success you want to share? I can share a bunch. I don't want to brag, but I do that just to encourage you guys to participate. And by the way, the more you participate, the more money you make, the more people you help, the higher your spot in heaven is. So feel free to participate here. Raise your hand, unmute yourself, put in the chat box. Who can we help today? Who wants to grab some success today? I see DY. I don't know what your name is, I don't think, but DY, what's up?
This is Dave from Atlanta.
From Hotlanta with his Falcons hat on.
You know what? I don't even like the Falcons. I actually like the 49ers.
Well, I don't like the Falcons either, so you can take the cap off if you want. Nobody here is asking you to keep it on.
I don't like the Falcons. Falcons is trash, man.
Okay. So besides knocking the Falcons, how can we help you today?
Yeah, I was just wanting to reach out to say that I have a meeting with a probate attorney on Tuesday because I have gave this probate attorney like 3 to 5 referrals. So he called me yesterday saying that he wanted me to find a good closing attorney for one of his clients. So he called back after that and said, "Look, we need to go somewhere and have lunch, to talk about some more possible business." So once
Well, hold on. Stop 1 second there because I'm a little slow here, Dave. He called you to say that.
Right, he called me back.
You didn't call him. You didn't cold call for 3 hours. He called you to say that.
Yeah, he called me. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
So I noticed when I go to the probate court in DeKalb County, I noticed that his name I see his names a lot on a lot of PRs. So we're gonna have a lunch. I'm gonna go meet him next Tuesday. So basically, he want to meet me to see is I'm like the right person for his clients. So we're gonna go meet next Tuesday, and I'm pretty sure, like working with this attorney right here, by seeing his names on so many PR paperwork, I'm pretty sure I could probably make about 100K just with this one attorney next year. So basically, he want to beat me, like since I referred him business, now he want to try to bring some of that business back to me.
Ooh, he likes that referral business in, so he has to refer back to you. How about that?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. If I can just give you a few pointers on how to be productive on your meeting with the attorney. You want people to want to do business with you. So make sure the biggest mistake, and Dave, I'm sorry, I forget, are you a real estate investor primarily or a real estate agent primarily?
Investor.
Okay. So you want people who want to bring deals to you because you're valuable as an investor more than you chase him down. So how do we do that? We want to make sure we ask questions. Rather, the mistake we make in sales is we offer them all kinds of stuff and we don't realize 2 problems. One is by offering them all kinds of stuff, we look desperate or too anxious. Number 2 is we're offering them things that they may not even want. So you want to find out the one thing they want by asking questions. One of my mentors in real estate taught me selling isn't telling, selling is asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
So what would he need to be able to work with you more often as a resource? Now, my guess is one of them might be he might need a real estate agent as well for the deals that need to be listed.
Right, because my wife can step in and do that because like I told you before, my wife, she's a real estate agent. So
there you go.
The properties that might not fit my criteria that might be in good shape, I can just let my wife get the listing for the houses like more in better shape than the scratch property.
And my guess is she's better looking than you are. So who wouldn't want to do this with your wife instead of you?
She's way better. Way better looking.
So, but again, I would just be careful. And the more you can draw him into the conversation of what he's looking for, and then give him the solution at the end, the better off you're going to be. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Great.
Yeah, I just want to add something too. I seen in a chat what they were saying about like something about the life insurance. I just want to recommend a book for the people on the chat to read. It's called What the Rockefellers Do. So it'll kind of line up with like life insurance or what you can do with life insurance, just to add on to that. A good book to read.
What would the Rockefellers do? I'll put the link into the Amazon. Interesting. Cool. I got it on my Amazon list right now.
It's a good book. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, good. I just bought it. One of my rules is when somebody who I respect, appreciate, recommends a book, I just buy it. And I have a list of books. And I read about a book, not quite one a week, one every other week maybe. But I have a stack of them about 6 or 7 deep. It gets a little further behind, but there's nothing in life as pleasurable as a good book and a lesson learned. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. And remind me now, Dave, how did you get the attorney to want to call you? You referred them business. How did you get the business to refer to them? By doing what?
Yeah, but I reached out to him about 6 months ago because like I said, I ended up calling him because his number is on like the PR paperwork at the county. So when you call looking for the PR, you're gonna call directly to that attorney because his number is up under the PR number, but it's not the PR number, it's his number. So that's
my one question is, you were calling cases based on the PR number in the files, and then as a result, you started talking to him, or how did you get to where you referred him business?
Yeah, that's how I ended up talking to him, and then I started referring him business after that.
So you just had a conversation with him and started referring him business, and how did you get the business to refer to him?
Yeah, because people called me, said they needed another attorney because the attorney that they're working with, they weren't satisfied. So I ended up reaching out to him.
All the time. This is,
Yeah.
and I want to tell you guys who work attorneys. Now, I don't want to speak for the whole country. And Atlanta is very similar to LA in terms of the probate market. Of all the markets I've seen, it's most similar to LA. And I don't really know they're both big cities, is probably part of it. But what I want to say is, in my experience, 90% of the customers are not happy with their probate attorney. And if you can help, and I literally was on the phone today with customer, not happy, referred to new attorney. And of course, now there's new attorney. I'm interviewing her in my video, and I'm going to have her in my Probate Weekly. And my goal is to get referrals from her. Because if you can learn how to properly advise clients on getting the right attorney for them, and it all varies. Some attorneys are just paper pusher, that's all you need. Some cases are litigators, you need those. If you can learn how to get the cases to the right attorneys, you're going to make a lot of money. You can help clients, and that's how you make money. So good job, Dave. Thank you so much.
I agree. Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Well, gee, we need to do a longer interview, Dave, and get into what you're doing. If you have to share. The only thing is you have to take that cap off. We can't do an interview with a Falcons cap on, okay?
Next time, I promise you, next time I'll be on here, I'll get rid of it. I'm about to get rid of it as soon as I get out of the call. I got some.
Well, wife's a Tom Brady fan, so we watched the Super Bowl, the 28-3 comeback. So. Oh
man, that was terrible. They gave up on him, and Tom came back and got him, man.
Yeah, well, that's Tom Brady. He Tom Brady'd him. Okay, who else has a success you want to share, or a challenge that you need to overcome, or something we can help with today? Anybody want to share one? Or a question? No? Of course, Kat found a cheaper Amazon book. There you go. Larry Smith, hand up. Let's see there, Larry. What's going on, Larry?
Bill, how are you, sir?
Dude, I'm doing so good, it's not even fair.
Yeah, you having to take medicine for it?
That's a good one. I might have to. I might have to.
Hey, so here, I'm going to give you a plug for Get Probate Cash, because I just reviewed the second module, and I'm going to an investor meeting tomorrow night. And so I thought I would just do a group announcement. I'm looking for people that would like to participate. If you were going, what would be your approach? If you were going to go meet with investors in your marketplace with Probate Cash, what would be your approach or your pitch?
So for those on the call, so I didn't pay Larry to do this, so maybe I should.
Yeah, you give me some money later.
I created a mastermind called getprobate.cash, and I really did it because I want to work with people who are serious. And I know that if you pay a little bit of money, you're going to be a little more serious about it. And I created a free program. Getprobate.cash is every Wednesday morning, 8:30. Love to have you come for free to talk about probate advances as a tool for your business. If you want to go a step further, I created a paid for coaching for $249, 4 modules, where I go into depth on how to use this tool in a deep level. So what it is these are people who are heirs or the PRs on a probate. They're going to be coming into a large chunk of money, but they have costs and such before them. And this is a way to advance them some of the money, typically minimum $10,000. And they'll pay it back when the probate closes. Not when the escrow closes, the probate closes, maybe a year and a half later, and they'll pay back $15,000 or $20,000. It's expensive, but powerful money. You can help somebody. So here, Larry's asking for how do I use this tool and promote it to investors? And so of the 4 modules, one is for investors. Why? Because investors tend to be lead generating in probate or pre-probates, also in distressed properties. And oftentimes it's distressed because the probate. Common scenario these days is mom or dad passed and had a reverse mortgage, and kids had the property and they were making payments, so they didn't feel any urgency. And time goes by, 6 months go by, and the reverse mortgage files a notice of default. Now it's a distress sale. So the investor finds it, comes to find out the title is in the property named in the parents, and the son or daughter can't simply transfer the property in most states. And that requires, in many locales, a probate. What do you do if they don't have the cash to hire an attorney, or they have the cash to make the payments, or they have the cash to pay taxes? You can use the probate cash as a way to get them, $10,000 cash, let's say, and they can make the payments they need to, or hire the attorney if they need to. Sometimes there's a tenant in there. You need to hire an attorney to get rid of the tenant, or partition action, or some other action to get the control of the property. So that's the use of probate advance with investors. Very powerful tool. And I would just say, what I say to investors is your title problem probably has me as the probate solution. And so call me up. And so I have investors who call me, all day long, and I'll look up the property profile and try to figure out who they're talking to and who's the property titled in. And many times it's a simple solution. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes they need to file probate, and I walk them through what their options are. And the Probate Cash is a great tool to do that. Yes, they can go on their own to get probate advances through other companies. I do a good job of, I think, working those deals through for my customers, and literally got one done last week. So does that answer your question, Larry? What are your thoughts? You're going to go meet investors. What I'm suggesting, just to generally talk about title problems, describe what probate is about and why they should call you. But the goal is to get them to call you.
Yeah, so I was kind of thinking, like, so those that watch the module or want to get part of the opportunity, is that it's paid lead generation.
Yeah.
So for the investors that are, buying a list and mailing a postcard and making the phone calls, that crowd that would be looking to do that, pitching the group. I'm just thinking, I don't know who would be interested, but generally there's a time that you can talk about whatever you want in the group. So I was thinking maybe that would be the pitch, is that you want to pay lead generation. Probate's my specialty, that kind of thing.
That's the other, so that's the other avenue I pitch to investors. That, thank you for saying that, because sometimes investors,
I can, Bill.
So sometimes, one of the challenges we have is, and I think more than ever, and with the rates up now, there's loan officers who are realizing they can't get loans or can't do loans as easily. And there's buyer's agents who are struggling to make sales. We have crypto people who are now not making money at that. And so the Probate Cash is an opportunity where, just like if you're calling and marketing to probate families for the purpose of selling property as an investor or listing with you as a real estate agent, those same people might be looking for an advance. And so one of the things I've done is I've given the data to different investors, and they're cold calling, and they're just calling to see if they want an advance. But sometimes the cold call will call me and say, hey, Bill, they want an advance, but they need to sell the property. Boom. As an investor, I can step in, or as a realtor. So the phrase that Larry repeated is, it's paid lead generation. That if you go through my course, now you can do it on your own as well, but if you go through getprobate.cash, if you decide to go through the course, which costs $249, if you happen to make a sale of $10,000, you find an advance, and I can show you how to do that, then you get a commission of at least $500. So now you've paid back the coaching. But more importantly, I think $500, it takes about 20 hours of calling per sale based on the numbers I've run. So it's about $25 an hour. And not only that, again, that's paid lead generation, because now you have a family that needs the cash, but they also have to sell the property. And whether you're an investor or realtor, now you have really a red hot lead that you have a connection with. So thank you for promoting that, but that's a program I have. And I know Chad's interviewed a company on this channel, and I've interviewed several on my channel and will continue to. And you're welcome to do it on your own. I just found it hard when you do it once in a while to do well. And so I started doing more of them and created my own company to do the advances. And it's just worked out better for me that way. Thanks, Larry.
Gotcha.
Appreciate that. I owe you $20. I'll pay you back later. Joyce, I see your hand up patiently. Sorry it took so long. What's going on? How can we help you?
I have two quick questions, please, Bill. Number one, I am PR of an estate, and it has been, this is in Orange County, and it's been 1.5 years, and it's still not settled. Is that unusual for Orange County? Do you know?
It's not unusual.
Not unusual.
No. Is there litigation? Are there objectors? Are they fighting over anything?
No.
Well, if they're not fighting over anything, then yeah, 1.5 years starts to become unusual. So somebody's not doing the paperwork right. You're the PR? Are you an attorney?
I do.
Does your attorney just do probate, or do they do a lot of other stuff?
Just probate.
Have you asked them why it's taken so long?
They tell me that the court's backed up, but they've been telling me that for 1.5 years.
When I hear that, of course, well, let me back up a little bit. So the court's no more backed up now than they were 4 years ago, right? They're not any more backed up. It's not like because of COVID, there was a time you couldn't get toilet paper, or, it's not like that anymore. The court is the court. They take whatever time they do. There is a certain seasonality. Things take a little longer in November, December because of holidays and vacations and such. And so maybe instead of a hearing getting in 35 days, you'll get a date in 45 days or 50 days, but it's not 6 months. So what I find is that's a convenient excuse for weak people, whether it be attorneys or anybody. And the antidote to that is accountability, trust but verify. And so if you're the PR, you have the case number. I say go online and look at the history. Something's not right. If you want to, feel free to offline, send it to me. I'd be glad to look at it with you. But I'll give you an example. A common thing that happens in I've seen, not in your case, but when I've watched a lot, and it's surprising how often it happens, is I have a buyer who's going to buy a property at court when there's no overbid. Now, my buyer theoretically is ready to close within 10 days of the court date. But often buyers want a little more time. They want to set up a hard money loan and whatever. They want to take their time to plan the property and such. So they're not in a hurry. The seller should be in a hurry. So what has to happen is when the court is done and we win the auction, the other attorney is supposed to prepare the form, send it to the judge signs it, and it's supposed to deliver to us a certified copy. That's what the law says. Well, if I don't tell them to do that, it could take 2 months, 3 months. The sharp attorneys, they bring the order that day, they leave it with the bailiff, they're picking it up in 2 or 3 days and delivering it to us. The ones who are sharp, about 1 in 50. The rest of them, they go back to their office, their day or two goes by, they're busy, they're backed up, whatever. They submit the form, it gets rejected 3 days later. I'm watching it online every day. You can watch it online, you get noticed when there's a rejection, but they don't respond to it for 3 or 4 days. They may not even know it's been rejected. I've seen attorneys not know that their order was rejected. They'll tell the client, we're waiting for the judge to sign the order, but it's online showing it's rejected already. So I don't know, everyone to guess, Joyce, what your particular case is, but I have to tell you, I find regularly attorneys saying they're backed up, and really the attorney just doesn't really know what they're doing or is telling you that, and that's not true. So I would definitely go online. And Joyce, I know you work in Orange County, and if this is your business, I would say you should learn the online system of the Orange County Court. It's available to you. And if you don't know, if you want to text me or email me the info, and I'll be glad to walk you through and share where you can find the information and see what is available online. But it shouldn't be a mystery. It should be pretty clear what's going on.
Thank you. I will do that. The second question, Bill, is that on one of my cases, I put a property for sale, and it's been on the market now for 2, and of course it's in the MLS. I've done open houses. I've sent emails with a flyer to over 1,000 real estate people in the market there. I've sent flyers to residential neighbors and I am stuck. I have also gone down on the price with a client, $25,000. And I'm thinking, what do we do now?
You're not going to like my answer. I haven't seen the property. I don't even know what city you're talking about. I have no idea what it looks like. But here's what I can tell you. There's only one reason why the property hasn't sold.
What?
Just one.
Just one.
Unless you've done something, gross negligence. If you didn't put photos in the MLS, or you put the wrong address in, or the wrong property. But I'm saying 99% chance, unless you did something that was really, 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 really incompetent, which I don't think you would. There's only one reason, and we don't want to hear it. We all want to pretend there's some other reason why. And I'm going to tell you, you could have the USC marching band play in front of the house every Sunday at 1 o'clock. You can skywrite throughout Orange County that your house is for sale. You can buy advertising on the Rams and Chargers football games at noon, advertising your property. There's only one thing that is going to cause that property to sell.
Please tell me.
The price.
The price.
It's always the price. This is what we have to have the courage to tell our sellers. It's always the price. Sellers like to believe, well, you're just not the right agent. I know the special agent, they have a special buyer list. They have the magic pixie dust. They have a magic formula. They stage the property. They this, they that. It's never that. It's never that. And that's why I do probate real estate, and I don't, when people tell me, oh, Bill, would you list your property? I'd love to. or we have 5 agents interviewing. I say, you know, to be honest, if you think I'm one of 5, I'm not the right agent for you, because I'm not going to play the game of who's going to lie to the client the most to get the listing. I just don't do it. I'm telling you, there's only one, as long as it's done competently, there's only one reason why a listing doesn't sell. That's it. It's never anything else. We wanted to believe, was it the photos? Was it staging? We need a video. We need a drone. No, there's one reason why it's the price. And the price, and you price appropriately, it will sell. It's just as simple as that. It sounds callous, sounds harsh. I've been in this business a long time. That's the truth. Now, you so welcome to disagree with me, and I'm not so arrogant to say you're wrong and I'm right. I just believe in my professional opinion is it's always the price.
I will go back to the drawing board. Thank you.
Take a look at the comps again. Have somebody else look at the comps and just blindly say, hey, here's 5 sales. Based on that, what should this house sell for? Get a colleague, a professional, look at your numbers. And look, we have a market where for the last 2 years, any monkey could sell a house. Even if you overpriced it, somebody would bid on it close enough to get it engaged and get it in escrow. It didn't, you know, and I literally had an agent who joined my company. They were going to sell their own property, and it was referred to me by an agent from Orange County. And they told me what they wanted to sell for, like 1.29 million. It was a condo. And everything around there had sold like 875, 895. And I said, based on everything else, the price should be 895. Well, no, you know, we know the market. We work for this high-tech company. My husband works for this high-tech company. We're masters of the universe, so we know by running all this data. We run Redfin every day, run Zillow every day. We know. No, they didn't know. It had nothing to do with it. The comps are the comps, and it's going to sell for. It's going to sell for. Maybe in a hot market, it sells for a little bit more, but it's going to sell for what it's going to sell for. And I was with them for 2 weeks, and every day it was something else. I wasn't getting enough traffic for them. I canceled a listing, and even though by law I'm allowed to, or by contract I'm allowed to not cancel or ask for a referral fee or something, I just said, good luck. Wish you luck with it. Because the magic listing agent with the magic buyers list listed it at 1.295, 1.195, 995, 895, and sold it for like 865, which is lower than the price I told them about a month before or 2 months before. So it's always the price. I'm sorry to say that, Joyce, but it is. Okay?
Oh, thank you.
Sure. Well, good luck with it. I know I saw Steve Carney had a comment. He's executive of Father's Estate, not happy with his probate attorney, but EstateExec makes the difference. He only calls when he has to. Yeah. 2 things there. One, not surprised, not happy with the attorney. In my experience, very few people are. And 2, EstateExec, I think, you know, I looked at it, it certainly organizes the information and then shares it, which I think is 2 of the important pieces. So outstanding. Larry says how conditional pricing. So I would say it's the price for the property in its condition, right? And so what I mean by that is obviously a house that you buy, if you repaint, carpet, and fix, it's going to be worth a little bit more. Or if it's, you rehab, it's worth more. But in its condition, it's worth a certain price. The other thing I would say on that, to get back to my soapbox, you should all check out Remodeling Magazine. It's online, and they do regional. The data is so good. Regional breakdowns of if I fix this, what do I get back in return? Because every seller believes, well, if I spend $5,000, I'll be a flipper on my own house. I'll spend $5,000 and I'll raise the value $50,000. But it doesn't work that way. In fact, when you look at that list, and I've watched it monthly for the last 5 years since I found out about it, almost any job you do in the house on a retail basis, now that's the difference here, on a retail basis, you're lucky to get 80 cents on the dollar, meaning you spend $10,000 on a big external paint job, you raise the value of the house by $8,000, but you spend $10,000. So you went backwards by $2,000. Maybe if you're a wholesaler and you get that retail job down at a wholesale price, you might break even. And if you're a wholesaler, you have excess paint, excess lumber, excess whatever, excess cabinets, of course your costs are way cheaper. But again, you're only going to get what you're going to get. Every investor, if there's somebody out here who invests in property, tell me if I'm right or wrong on this. Every investor I've ever done business with on every property, when we look back on it, told me 3 things. They paid a little more than they planned on paying. It cost them a little bit more to fix it up or their carrying costs, and he sold it for a little bit more than they expected to. Now, in the last 2 years, when everything's going up 15%, everybody was a genius. And if you spent $10,000 on your property, while it went up 15%, that $400,000 house went up $60,000, you would sell it for $60,000 more and think you're a genius. No, the market went up $60,000 while you played around with the paint. You didn't make money painting the house. You lost money, but by holding on to it, you made money. And if you're flipping into another house, you would have made money on the next house. So it's always the price. And be careful when you put money in. The key thing is what's your return on your investment? And check out Remodeling Magazine. That's a magazine for the remodeling industry. That's not a consumer-oriented magazine fooling people into fixing up their house. This is what professionals go to who do business. And think about logically. If you have a house, let's say, think of any job you're going to do. You're going to remodel your kitchen, and you're going to spend, I don't know, $10,000, $50,000 remodeling your kitchen. Generally speaking, it makes sense to do it if you're going to enjoy it. So if you're going to enjoy it and you spend $50,000 and it brings back $40,000 of value, but you enjoy that kitchen for 5 years with your family, well, great. That's why you live there. And you get back $40,000 of the $50,000. You only lose a little bit. But to think that you're going to be able to improve your property and make money doesn't really make sense in most categories as a general rule. Okay, other questions? Buying frenzy is subsiding? Yeah, for sure. The market's definitely cooling off, and so the market is going to be much more. Larry suggests using comparables only in the last 60 to 90 days. I would agree 100%. Also check the actives, because you have properties on the market, and there's always the if your house is worth $1 million, why is this one on the market at 850? And you have to answer the question, because the buyer is going to look at that. Every buyer sees every property. That's what's changed in the market. A lot of these real estate rules were written in the 60s and 70s and 80s. I remember when I started in the business, you had an MLS book, and then you got the new book. You had the update book every other week. So the first week of the month, you got the book. Second week, you got the updates. So you had to look at the updates in the book, Third week, you got the new book. Fourth week, you got the updates. So it was a big deal. A property came on the market that was new. Agents might have missed it. Now, every buyer gets pinged on their phone every new active listing. So if there's a comparable that's there, they're going to look at that. Vince says, have the seller pay for professional appraisal. Yeah, that's a great suggestion. The problem is sellers really, denial is not just a river in Egypt. Sellers don't want to know the truth. I think they know the truth, and you show them the data. And I will say, again, I was a little harsh maybe with Joyce. I didn't mean to be, and Joyce, please forgive me. I meant to be direct and honest. But in the course of selling to a customer, we don't sell them by telling them. We sell them by asking questions. And so I took the Mike Ferry training on listing presentations, and what we were trained to do was point out the data points and ask the seller the question. Do you see this listing on 123 Main Street? Yes. How many bedrooms? 3. How many baths? 1.5, just like yours. Square footage? 1,800, just like yours, right? Yes. What's it listed for? 800, right? But you want to list for $1 million. What do you think a buyer would look like this property versus yours? They might look at that one instead. So when I say this to you, Joyce, I do want to be honest and say, we ask questions and help the seller, and this is the key, we ask the seller to discover what the market is telling them. I'm not telling them the price of the house. I'm not telling them it's only worth $850. The market's telling them that. I'm their friend. I have my arm around them, and we're looking at the bad data saying, wow, that's terrible. Look what the market's telling you. I'm not telling them that. The market is telling them that. But some sellers don't want to hear it. But I do like the idea, Vince, of suggesting paying for an appraisal. And with professionals like attorneys, they relate to that. Often we have to have an appraisal for the probate anyhow. So they relate to the idea of getting appraisal. And if the value's off, they'll suggest that. And Dylan says, invest in an appraiser and get an appraisal done and let them break the bad news. Okay, I'm all for that. That's a great one. So Vince has a point about the asking price on a 30-year loan and compare the difference in payments between the 3% and 7%. Yeah, that's definitely the case. When a seller looks at, well, that property they sold 6 months ago was at 3%. Here's what that buyer is paying. For the same property today, here's what a buyer would have to pay monthly for the same house at the same price. In essence, the buyer is paying an increased price at the same price by virtue of the payment. And so the price has gone up in a sense to that buyer in terms of a monthly payment. Very good point. Pete says he's getting resistance from EstateExec, from attorneys, because they think will take over what they do, obviously not explain it correctly and what it can do. Yeah, I think, Pete, also you might consider, I'm not using it, so I can't speak with any success, but I did, I did go into it personally and set up myself on it. And I can say you might consider if the attorney has a paralegal or a secretary, maybe who's not a paralegal, it might be a way to help leverage their time to be productive with the customer, because that way they have to learn all the details because it's kind of laid out for them in the form. But I don't see an attorney who's trying to earn hundreds of dollars an hour filling in the forms. I'm sure they're going to have a problem with that. And let's see, seller concessions. Okay, Larry's got his hand up. Larry, what's going on?
Yeah, so just to add to that comment there, I did run into the same thing. I don't know who posted that. Was it Pete?
Yeah, Pete Mark.
Yeah, so when I interviewed the attorney, and we were talking about EstateExec software, so it was a very similar vein. It was that it finally got around to, I said, well, at least from the accounting standpoint, this would really help streamline your operation. Who's taking care of the billing? And this is a true story. They said, well, we take care of the accounting. They're an attorney. And I said, okay, so how does that work? Because I didn't want to assume anything. And she goes, well, they bring us the bank statements, the physical bank statements. I said, right, so y'all balance the checkbook? Yeah, we do it. And I went, really, y'all don't have those like tied to the bank so you just get them, electronically? No. And then I asked, okay, so who pays the bills? They go, we do. We take care of paying the bills and we balance it. And I said, and y'all are doing that? That's billable work for you. And they go, right. Guess what they had a problem letting go of?
Yeah.
So it is a problem because they did not want really to talk about EstateExec software because it would cut a lot of billable hours at $250 an hour, and you're going to cut out 100 hours. That's a lot of money. So they're just not interested. If that's the way they're running their business, and
Right.
they're you can get a bookkeeper for a lot less than $200 an hour, but that their structures like that. So what
Right.
Pete is saying, there's some validity to it, and
Sure.
I think that the only thing I can think of that was the angle is that for the people that come in and go, Bill, I'm not going to give you $3,000, $4,000. I can't afford it. I could pay you, $1,250. Is there any part of this I could do? That's probably where EstateExec software would work for an attorney that is not looking to scale.
No.
Because these are not attorneys. You can't scale a business if you're balancing checkbooks and writing checks.
Well, I wouldn't say they can't, but you're right. I mean, it's certainly a different approach. I think two things I'd say. One, it's hard to find good bookkeepers, and so if the law firm's not going to do it, the client has to. The client's not going to hire one bookkeeper in their life to manage the estate. Having recently been through this, I was surprised that the accountant didn't have bookkeepers. The attorney didn't have a bookkeeper available or service they use regularly. Because if you do a bunch of trusts, you do this regularly. So I can see both ways. I think the thing that's more troublesome, what you're saying, which I think is true, is you don't want to work with attorneys who are focused on creating work for billable hours. You want attorneys who say to you, no, it's because we give better service to our clients, and that's the end of the day what's important. I was talking to an attorney yesterday about the value of video appearances rather than driving in person. And I said to him, the thing clients always complained to me about was an attorney driving to court, sitting around for 2 hours and driving back and billing for 4 hours for a 5-minute appearance. And now you get to do that in video. And I said, that must cut down your billable hours. And she said, no, actually, we only bill for the time to run the video, which means the work I do is more productive. Customers are happier. They don't want to pay me to drive around and wait around in court. They want to pay me to solve their legal problems. And as a result, I spend more time doing that. And frankly, I don't want to drive around. So I think it speaks to your point of where they're coming from. If they're coming from creating billable work, then that's probably a firm you don't want to work with in the long run. If they're coming from, hey, we want to control the bookkeeping because we're going to give our customers better service than they'll find on their own, and we can consolidate numerous customers with 1 or 2 bookkeepers, then I can see a case for that. So it really depends on the attorney and I think where they come from. Well, good, but thanks for sharing that. Okay, and what is Glacier, by the way? Your cap, Larry.
Are you back to me?
Yeah. What's a glacier?
I thought I was done. A glacier is an upscale resort community just north of Durango,
Got it.
Colorado.
Sounds cold to me, Larry. I'm not interested.
No, let me tell you, this place you want to go to.
Yeah, it sounds cold to me, Larry. I really don't.
Anything over 60, anything under 60 is cold for you.
Yes. It's under 70, actually. I think under 70. It's 71 here. It's a little nippy here. It's 71 degrees.
You should never admit that.
I got weak. Okay, good. Other questions? Eva points out that sellers can do buy down of interest rates to lower payments. Good point. Definitely recommend. If you're not up, I was a lender and I was in the business back when rates were 10% and higher. Definitely learn about temporary buy downs, learn about rate buy downs with seller concessions, and use those if you're working with buyers. Very, very important. Or as a listing agent, to offer counters to buyers on pricing and learn how that works and find lenders that will support you in that. I think that's so important. I saw somebody raise their hand, then the hand went back down. Steve says, attorneys are paid for the legal value they bring. Working administrative tasks the PR family can do is a focus on tasks outside the legal value. Steve, I'd say generally you're right. But again, as a customer on a case recently, I wish the attorney had, either a resource, whether it be in-house or their preferred vendor. I would imagine if they do 10 or 20 trusts at a time, they'd have bookkeepers. For me to go out and find one to handle and to teach them how to do trust bookkeeping and present it in a format that the attorneys are going to be able to file on is a task. And I do think there's room for, again, I think Steve, we're not disagreeing with the actions. We're describing two different possible philosophies. If the only reason the attorney is doing it is for billable hours and not create value, you're 100% right. But I would say if the attorney is trying to serve their customer better, and some customers appreciate a fuller service or a better solution for accounting, then I think that becomes the attorney's opportunity for creating value. But we'll have to disagree on that, I guess. Okay, we got 51 minutes. So we got one last question: burning desire, problem, story, or success. Who's got one last one they want to share? One last one. Well, let me just ask you this real quick. What percentage of effort, of your workday effort, are you guys having between now and the rest of the year? Are you throttling back and you're at 50%? Are you at 100%? You need to wrap it up because you're running out of cash and you need to be at 110%? I'll just share, I'm at the same schedule I've been all year long, other than Christmas Day is a work day for me at the home. I'm Jewish, I'm not Christian, so it's a good day to do some computer work. I won't work on Thanksgiving Day or the next day. Those 2 days I'll take off with my family. And I normally work half a day Friday and don't work on Saturday. And I'll continue. But I'm gonna work a regular 40-hour schedule almost every day the rest of the year. Put in the chat box you would. Are you at your regular schedule, which might be 100%? Are you at 50%? You're throttling down? Are you gonna put your foot in the gas pedal, go to 110%? Let's see what you guys say. Steve says, fair points, but does everyone have to have their hand through? Steve, I would say no, not everybody needs their hand held. Some people want to offer a handheld process and some don't, and I think either one's fine. Vince says he's throttling back. Okay, but you're planning for big next year. Great. Peter says same schedule. Carmen's ramping up. Great. Bud says he's got the hammer down. Excellent. Need more probate business. Great. Steve says he's ramping up. Great. I'm here with you. I'm certainly not ramping up my hours, but I'm very focused on being more productive this time of year. I'm definitely adding some new things I'm really excited about, some new programs and new strategies. And Dave says 110%, build a pipeline for January. Yeah, I already have a nice pipeline for January and hopefully got another deal in escrow tomorrow. So we'll see. So it looks like a lot of you guys are still working hard the rest of the year. I know I am. We're going to do this every Tuesday between now and the end of the year. And hopefully I'll be able to host them all with you guys. So I'll urge you to do is, as we finish off, we do this every week, every Tuesday at noon. If you miss part of it, you can go to Probate Mastery and you can go to the YouTube channel and see the replay. If you like this, subscribe, like it, or whatever, that way you'll see it more often. If you're new, thank you for checking us out. Check out probatemastery.com is the website, or go to Facebook and go to the Probate Mastery alumni group if you've been in Probate Mastery. If you haven't been, go to the website and check it out. It's a great program. I've taken it at Chad's old company. I took it again with a new company, and I think it's a great way to learn the business. Most importantly, kind of where you come from in order to do the business in a way that's productive and, for me, fun, and feel like you're important and creating value for people, especially in this market. So if I can help you, I'm Bill Gross, the LA Probate Expert. You can find me on social media at Bill Gross EXP. If I can help in any way, please let me know. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for all your support. Make it a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much, everybody.